Sananda. Find joy in the present. I am Sananda. I come to be with you now, in these important times of change. Change that is happening everywhere. Truth emerging everywhere. Shadows everywhere being revealed for what they are, for what they once were. Illumination. Light spreading everywhere. Think about how this is actually happening in your world right now. But only for those who still have eyes to see and ears to hear. For those who don't have those eyes, you see a darkened world. You see a world still wrapped in shadow. But you yourselves, those of you who are awakened or in the process of awakening, you are the ones who see the new world. You see it for what it can be. And know that you are creating that new world with every single thought you have. But know that your thoughts are filling more and more with light, love, and unity. And because your thoughts are creating that light, that awareness of unity, those thoughts, as you have heard many times, are entering the collective consciousness, into that quantum grid, and are being picked up by those who are also in the process of awakening. And your thoughts are becoming their thoughts, and their thoughts are becoming your thoughts, and so on. So it will continue this way as more and more of you have more positive thoughts, and those positive thoughts will be sent across the entire planet. And more people will adopt them and begin to work with these thoughts. And the next thing they will understand is that believing equals seeing. They will begin to understand that it is no longer just about seeing to believe, as they were taught to believe, as all of you were taught to believe in the programming you received in this life and in many previous lives. But those times are coming to an end, and you need to understand that. And the more you understand it, and the more you realize it, the more you are creating exactly what is happening. The more you believe it, or the more you know that when you believe, you will see, the more you will create it for yourselves. And the more you will create it for those around you. And they will create it for those around them, and so on. And then more and more people will be able to understand that they are the creators of their own reality, rather than the other way around. The time has come, my friends, brothers and sisters. The time has come to embrace the future by living in the perfect present, and to know that it is always the perfect present. Because if you believe it is the perfect present, then you will no longer cling to the past, to past problems, past programs, past memories that have held you back for so long. You, meaning your collective. So the time has come to put everything aside and move fully toward the future by living more and more in the present, and to realize that you are in that present moment, and in that present moment you can create all the joy you desire in your life, right there in that very instant. I am Sananda, and I leave you now in peace, love, and unity, so that you may continue to embrace the future by fully living that perfect present. The last night in the old world, I woke up in the middle of the night from a dream that didn't feel like a dream. It felt like a message. I started recording in the early morning hours, so I wouldn't lose it. In the dream, all of us lightworkers, healers, and so on, were packing our bags. At first, it felt like I was packing at my own home, but the deeper I went into the dream, the more I realized it wasn't just my home. It was the entire world. And we were leaving it. Not running away, not fleeing, but packing it up with awareness, care, and a deep satisfaction in knowing we had done a good job. The last things I gathered were the most sacred. Everything else was already gone. I packed items that looked like crystals, stones, artifacts, discs, documents, books, wisdom, and so on. This was the essence of who we are, no matter where we are, and what we learned while we were there. It was as if we were packing only the essence of what mattered for the future. Before leaving, there was a moment of silence to say goodbye. I remember thanking the house, the world, and the universe, and thanking for allowing me to live there, for the beauty, for the experience, and for the lessons. Because it was a beautiful house, it was a beautiful world, it was a beautiful age. But when I stepped outside, the place we lived in no longer existed. There were no more walls, no floors, just a crumbling structure that barely held reality together, as if one strong push could make it collapse. It looked like it had been falling apart for a long time, as if it were being demolished in reverse of how it was built, almost as if time were going backward, leaving us in that emptiness. What really struck me was this. We kept the light on until the very last possible moment. The last breath, the last second, the last millisecond, and then we pulled up the anchors. When, We stepped out. There was no direction. No plan, no map, no idea what to do next. So we did this strange thing. We just sat down and ate. We ate. We rested. We laughed. But we also questioned. Because the new Earth, the new reality, wasn't ready yet, and the old one was already gone. We found ourselves in a place of transition. A pause between eras, between realities. It was a waiting space, like a lifeboat where we could refuel, body and soul, while we waited. There was no panic, no fear, no urgency. Just this serene awareness that the next steps would come when they came. They were coming. All we had to do was pull up the anchors inside us that kept us tethered to the old world, and wait. There was a moment when I felt a little sad. I noticed other people at other tables who I thought would come with us, but they were heading in different directions. There were many divisions within our group. Not everyone was going the same way, yet I still felt the connection that bound us. But my sadness faded because I also knew they would be fine, and so would we. What stayed with me most was the feeling. It was peaceful, fulfilling, and nostalgic. It wasn't pain, just appreciation for what had been and acceptance that it was over. That world had run its course. Humanity, in many ways, had taken that world as far as it could go. Then there comes a point where we stop investing in what is already cycling out. We pull up the anchors, pack our bags, and leave. And then I understood. This dream came during Easter week, a day when the world remembers a story of resurrection, a story of letting go of everything and returning transformed. And in the dream, I felt the same thing. We were letting go of an old world, so a new one could arise. It would be transformed. We don't carry the old world into the new one. We completely release our old reality. We gather only what is sacred. We anchor and wait, knowing that the universe will provide, as it always has and always will. What surprised me was that the destination didn't feel like another dimension, another timeline, or a completely different place. Rather, it felt like a transfiguration. We stop, we disconnect, and then we return to the same place, but everything is elevated, purified of karma, and filled with new experiences to live. We are in a great cosmic pause. It is an in-between space where we wait for the new foundations to settle beneath our feet. I remember being one of the last to leave. I stayed until there was almost nothing left, and I was left with just a small box of sacred objects. And when I finally left, there was nothing left to hold on to. And yet, I felt a sense of peace. I knew that if I turned around to look at where I had been, there would be nothing there anymore. And the strongest thing I perceived throughout the dream was this: our light is intact. No matter what happened, no matter how chaotic things seem, no matter how much it looks like everything is falling apart, the light is intact. It hasn't been destroyed. It has grown stronger and gained more determination. It cannot be destroyed. And the people who carry it are still here. We felt like we were on a lifeboat, not fleeing the world, not waiting to be saved, but being held up by what is true in our hearts during this transition. We will maintain a steady course until the new world is ready for us. Life Tapestry Creations. Find your spark, dearest ones. Your difficulty in dreaming of a new world is likely due to the media and others spreading the message that the world you knew no longer exists. And since you can't yet imagine another world, you feel both fear and hope at the same time. Fear that what the media proclaims is your new eternal reality, and hope that the messages we in the universe transmit are accurate. Both emotions are appropriate and inappropriate for a number of reasons, not least because the removal or destruction of everything you once held dear is frightening, and the joy and love we have promised you is only hope, not yet your reality. Who do you believe? The reality you face daily through the media, or the dreams we, the beings of the universe, have begun to awaken within you? Tangible fear or hopeful joy? You are likely confused and more frightened or angry than happy. We in the universe have promised to awaken your creative abilities step by step. This week, the part of your new creative skill set consists of the awareness that some will adapt easily to self-creation, while others will take a little more time and energy. Although everyone will eventually learn, this is the learning phase. Imagine an experience, a place, or a person that lights up your life. Then add a touch of magic that includes not only acceptance or joy, but also a creative element. What creative twist could you add to make that dream shine? Perhaps a role you never dared to take on before, or new clothing, the welcoming of others, a more splendid environment, or you possess an inner design ability that can enhance any environment you choose to explore. Let this ability express itself freely. There is no right or wrong image, nor is there any need to reduce an image or thought because you might have acted beyond your abilities. You have no limits, and you never have, except during the 3D Earth eras when you diminished your abilities, your joy, and your love. It is time to break free, to be all that you can be, whenever and however you wish. You are no longer the three-dimensional Earth beings you accepted and promoted. You are universal gods and goddesses, as, in fact, is every being on Earth, including those you believe belong to the devil, or whatever term you choose to indicate that they are bad and you are good. You are all one, playing different roles during this extraordinary transition. Without your so-called demons, you would have more difficulty adjusting to your new world. If your life felt 70 to 80% comfortable, you would have little need to change your focus or direction. 3D Earth would be more than enough. On the contrary, you feel anger, discomfort, and fear of the future, which indicates the need for a change in your life and actions. So, building on last week's dreams of what would make your life joyful, you are now raising the stakes to realize the dreams you created last week. Your new life is not about accepting everything. It is about living and loving joyfully. It is about waking up each morning, wondering what joyful experiences you will live or create. It is about surrounding yourself with like-minded people who care for you, knowing you can contribute specific elements to whatever the group is exploring. It is about building your world in joy and then adding your joyful contribution to a group of like-minded people, which in turn will enrich your world as a whole. Finding your inner light again is the beginning of rebuilding Earth, one joyful piece at a time. One piece that will soon join with other pieces until the new tapestry of Earth is complete. Not in decades or years, but in weeks and months. Within a few days, you will find information or a group that will excite you in areas you never imagined possible. When that happens, you will understand why you were drawn to that specific area. This is a global transition following the destruction of what was once dear to you during your three-dimensional existence. The last remnants of that destruction are now manifesting daily, generating understandable but no longer necessary fear in you, because you are in the midst of rebuilding Earth. You are a precursor of the transition, but your role as a precursor no longer includes worrying about what is happening in the world, because deep down you know that the world is freeing itself from fear and accepting love as the foundation of existence. Your only role now is to create your unique thread for the tapestry, something you are finally fully capable of doing, despite the trepidation and fear that you are not able. Allow yourself to know that you are ready, and then accept that your thread for the tapestry is in the preparatory phase, a phase that some will complete more easily or quickly than you. Everyone transforms at their own right pace and right time. Know that the door is finally wide open whenever you decide to walk through. The decision is entirely yours, based on what you want and need. You are a unique individual in a truly glorious era. Allow yourself to enjoy your transition, as well as Earth's. So be it. Amen. April 2026. Embracing the Renegade Self. Hello, wonderful soul. Embracing the Renegade Self can feel like inner self-destruction, where the old ego structures die, allowing a more authentic, loving self to emerge. This is the spiritual task we are given in April, to take the shadow and fear work we brought to light in March and rise like a phoenix to rebirth our sovereignty and sense of purpose. It is not always an easy process, especially as it may reactivate the mind and body with old trauma and pain. Embracing the Renegade Self is the process of reclaiming parts of our personality, emotions, and history that have been repressed, denied, or judged. Reclaiming our sovereignty through this process involves moving from a state of inner fragmentation and outer conformity to a state of being integrated and authentic, the true self, in which we have authority over our energy and our choices. The mystic archetype begins its healing journey by descending into our inner landscape to meet the renegade self, those exiled fragments of shadow, shame, or repressed power that need healing. Instead of judging these parts, the mystic uses the tools of radical presence, unwavering faith, and deep intuition to recognize them as sacred messengers. As these fragments are integrated, the sovereign archetype rises to establish a new inner order and receptively gathers creative power, no longer governed by unconscious triggers or the need for external validation. The sovereign takes their place on the throne of the true self, reclaiming the life force that was once spent on repression. The union of the sovereign and the mystic in the second chakra creates a life of authentic power and spiritual autonomy. The mystic provides the depth needed to understand the hidden dimensions of the soul in relation to the higher self, while the sovereign provides the structure to manifest that truth in the three-dimensional material world. Together, these two archetypes return our sovereignty to us, ensuring that every part of our being, both light and dark, is aligned with our highest purpose. This integration ends the inner warring tension, allowing us to walk in the world not as a fragmented, wounded ego, but as an undivided, truly free being rooted in unity. More on these two archetypes, the importance of spiritual sovereignty at this time, and how to support the integration of this month's energies in my video. In Service and Divine Liberation, Samantha Sanhia, Losing Everything and Finding the Present Participant 1. Laughing. Oh my goodness. It's been quite a ride. I've experienced so many endings in the last 5 years. Every time I thought I could finally breathe a sigh of relief after another ending, another one came. I've been overwhelmed by a tsunami of endings. The main thing is that now I wonder what it will be like to be completely alone. I've experienced solitude with Sanhia before, but this solitude is different. I love being alone, laughs, with myself. I've realized how difficult it is to be alone without an anchor in nature, and without my furry friends. Now I only have one left, after living for years, 10 or 12, with the love of dogs and cats. Just by moving and letting go of everything that had meaning for me over the last 5 years, letting it go and moving on. But now I find myself in a moment where everything has stopped. I don't even know how to behave in that space anymore. That's my current state of mind. Very, very raw. I have one cat left that I love. I don't even know how he's doing. I have a vet appointment in 2 months. I needed a break. I just lost one of my children, one of my furry children. I've had a tough year. I lost 4 furry babies, 1 dog and 3 cats. I can be alone with myself. It's just that I don't know how to be alone without that furry love. That's my new situation. Laughs, sitting in the unknown without the love of my children. Laughs/cries. Anyway, that's me. Participant 2. I can bring you cats. Participant 1. I know. I've felt that so much. Thank you. It's just that having that love for so long. It's like when you have a furry child in your life, whether it's a dog or a cat, for so long. There's something about that moment when you lose them. You lose a part of yourself because they were literally there with you for over 10 years. So, thank you for the new. I'm just trying to figure out how to live without the old. It's a huge loss. Laughs/cries. A loss. Yes. Sanhia. You may or may not appreciate the message that will be posted on February 1st. Participant 1. I love all your messages. Sanhia. This ties back to the story, because what has died is not your animal, but your story. Participant 1. Yes, crying. I know. Sanhia. The story is always painful. Freedom is being without the story, simply being in the present moment. That is the gift your four-legged friends have left you. Participant 1. Just. Sanhia. It feels like loneliness if you compare it to something else, which we call the story. If you are simply present to what is here and now, loneliness is not possible. Loneliness is a mental comparison to something else. What is present is always absolutely fantastic. All it takes is being present to yourself instead of being lost in your thoughts and your story, wishing you had your story instead of what is. That is always painful because you can't. You can't have it. Participant 1. In the last 5 years, I have let go, or at least I thought I did, of all the things I loved. Being with my children, my furry children, and losing them one by one, sometimes 2 at a time. It's been hard to stay anchored in the past. There were too many memories and ghosts around me, all the time. It's been a really hard struggle to stay happy in the present with that emptiness, which I know isn't empty, but I perceive it as empty. I am a new person. I've never been without a child, a furry child, since I was a teenager. I know it's supposed to be this way and I understand it, but I miss their love so much. It's the only thing that kept me grounded during this time when I've lost so many things I loved so deeply. So, anyway, Sanhia, now that you've graduated, you don't need it anymore. There's a huge difference between allowing those feelings of pain and sadness to exist, letting go of the descriptions, simply feeling the emotions that are there and letting them be there as long as they are, and connecting those feelings to the thoughts in your mind. Participant 1. So many tears. Sanhia, you're not trying to push them away. You're not trying to change them. You're not trying to fill your life with something so you don't feel them. You just let them be there and feel them fully. Participant 1. I went through the loss of my partner of 30 years. I didn't lose him. We separated. We divorced. But I lost the land I loved so much, where for the first time I felt at home. And all my furry friends came from there. They were part of the past, part of that story that made me feel connected to something I love so deeply. I don't have people in my life. I'm alone. And that's okay. It doesn't bother me. I just don't know how to be alone without that connection to the love that an animal can give, whether it's in nature and I'm observing it or anything else. So it's just about letting go of that story and accepting it. I have one furry friend left. I love him so much. There's nothing that matters more than him right now. I don't matter. Nothing matters, and I don't know how to handle this. It feels like I'm ending my life. Really. Crying, it feels like my life has stopped and ended, and I know it hasn't. But that's exactly how it feels. And it's like you suggested. Being with this situation, accepting it for what it is, feeling it. I appreciate that because I get up, I work, I come home, and I feel completely like a zombie. Sanhia, and you know what's going to happen to your last surviving cat. Participant 1, yes. I'll be sitting alone in my house. I don't know what that will be like. It's going to be really terrible. Cries, Sanhia. Notice that your mind has a terrible image of what's to come. Is that the future you want? Of course not. So let go of those thoughts and come back to the present. You also mentioned losing a part of yourself. Where is that part? Who is witnessing its loss? Can you lose the part of you that is aware of what is happening now? Notice that when you tell your story, you are creating something you don't want, and, more importantly, you are avoiding fully feeling what is present. Have the courage to stay with the emotions while letting go of the story. What brought you, several years ago, to come here and speak with us? Participant 1. I'm the one who moves. I let everything go. Sanhia, what were you hoping would happen? Participant 1. That I would find peace in the chaos. Sanhia, how did that turn out? Participant 1. It turned out really well. If there's one place where I feel like all this crazy life makes sense, it's here. Sanhia, there's only one thing we talk about here, even though we sometimes wander here and there. We talk about being aware of the truth of who you are, your divinity, the fact that you are an awakened individual who is not paying attention to your own awareness, but is looking in other directions and at other things, and we encourage you to be aware of what is. There is nothing more powerful in the healing process than healing that separation between the truth of who you are and your story, that losing, that letting go. Whether you choose to let go or you create the situation so it looks like the universe did the letting go for you, it's the same thing. When it's time to let go, the letting go happens, and no attempt to hold on will give you anything but blisters on your fingers and palms. There's no way to hold on. What is gone is gone. When you think you have something, you don't have it. You have your story about it. So you had this animal for 12 years, but where is it now? Is it here now? Or is it the story in your mind that keeps you from being here now? Well, it's very hard to leave the story behind when the main character of that story is still present in your life. Participant 1. I call them ghosts, laughing. Sanhia, you had that cat as a kitten. Do you still have it? Does that kitten that hopped around, played with things, and rolled on the floor still hurt you? No, you still have it, so you hold on to it. But the truth is that every part of your story dies in every instant. No matter how much you try to hold on to it, it is pain and suffering. So these losses are enormous gifts from the universe telling you, you can let go right now if you want. You can be here, present. You can be with what is. Every ego mind has an absolute terror of looking and seeing what is. Everyone is afraid of it. The ego believes you are your story. Without your story, you are nothing. The truth is, with your story, you are nothing. Without your story, you are eternity. You are everything. You are God. You are divine. As they say, selling yourself for a penny on the dollar. Holding on to a story worth a penny instead of the infinite riches of the present. The truth of yourself, your divine nature. Participant 1, just about how you're explaining all of this, which makes so much sense. It feels right, the way you talk about it, and I understand it. It's the after, and I've thought about it so much this time. Why does it hurt so much? Every time. I've experienced so many losses. It should be much easier. It's the closing of this period of time that no longer exists because it's past. I'm sure many of us have walked this path where the heart is hurt from letting go of the things we love. We are well aware that the present moment is absolute. It exists only. Every moment is every moment, and ghosts are just stories. And it's so human of us to want to be connected to something we love so much. Sanhia, you are not connected to the story. If you want to be connected, do it every time you step outside and immerse yourself in the beauty of winter. The trees, the birds, the deer, any animal you see, even people, even cars. You must be absolutely connected to everything around you in every moment, unless you are thinking, I wish this weren't here, and instead I had this cat with me. So, you would rather have the cat you can't have than this universe of riches that is right here, right now. Constantly changing. It's not the same universe. Constantly moving and transforming. You would get bored if it were always the same. Yes, there is pain. So feel it and let it flow. Then observe what is around you. When you ask yourself why it still hurts or why it hasn't gotten easier, you are in your mind and separate from the real world in front of you. Your story always separates you from what is and causes pain and suffering. Notice that and come back to the present. Participant 1, I take refuge in that place where I understand what's in front of me is, whether it's making myself a cup of tea or going out in a snowstorm. That's my present moment. I feel joy, like shoveling snow gives me such great joy that it's ridiculous. I love being outside in the middle of the night shoveling snow, watching it fly away, being outside, warm. I love all those things. Laughs. That's my path. It's finding joy in this human experience. It's always when I'm alone that I enjoy myself and my time. So, going out into the world and interacting with people makes me happy, and I share happiness. But that deep love, that deep something, I'm in a kind of nothingness, and I think that's what I'm supposed to be. That nothingness is what really exists. It feels really empty of love. It's more of an emptiness of anything that really matters. It's the strangest place to be. You feel dead, and yet you're not dead, but you feel dead. All that sensual love I felt for my furry friends, there's a connection. Whether you're in nature, having a beautiful human experience with family, whatever it is, you feel full. It's been really strange to feel this fullness, and also this emptiness, at the same time. Sanhia, you hit the nail on the head. Everything and nothing exists simultaneously. You are one with everything, with every object, every experience, every thought, every feeling, and every person. At the same time, none of it exists. It's all illusion. The meeting point between everything and nothing is the present. The mind is absolutely incapable of understanding this. That's why you need to let go of the mind and thoughts. You need to give up trying to understand and simply welcome the gifts that God or the universe offers you. There is no story. There is only life. The mind wants to find a story. That only leads to pain, confusion, and suffering. There is no story. There is only what is, and it's not even real. These are just words and they don't represent the truth. They are only pointers. Take your question about how fullness and emptiness can exist at the same time, and continue to look for the answer within yourself. Participant 1. We also talked, once, about the spectrum of service to others. That can also involve draining our love for ourselves, where we always want to help others, instead of filling ourselves first, so we are full for everything around us. I think my energy, or rather my lack of energy, for the human experience comes from, I just find it exhausting. Really. In the other realm, I don't feel drained. Even when I face trauma involving nature or my pets, I feel a different kind of pain. The human experience is just one big journey. I know it's what we're supposed to do, so it's okay, laughs. It's all part of a whole. It's interesting to always come back to ourselves. Loving ourselves says a lot about what we can do in the world when we are so full. Sanhia. Usually when we talk about projection, we mean judging others for things we don't want to see in ourselves, but loving another person is also a form of projection. All the love you direct toward your cats is a projection of your love for yourself, the awareness that you cannot love them without loving yourself. Because you believe you are unworthy of love, you project that love onto your animals. Notice that, and observe that part of you. That self-judges. Keep looking until you find the truth of your beauty, your divinity. The cats are there to remind you to do that. What a gift. Similarly, whatever keeps you from being around people, what judgments are there? That, oh, thank you for showing me that there's a place where I don't love myself. There's a place where I judge myself. You might avoid some people, but we all know you can't do that all the time. Even if it's just the cashier at the supermarket or the person throwing all those fatty, sugary foods into their cart and you think, oh, how can you eat all that stuff? Laughs. So you constantly have this gift in the moment, where you see where you are not loving yourself. The mind would like to say, no, this is about them. This is about my cat that's no longer here. No, it's never that. It's all projection. Whether it's love or judgment, it's always projection. There is a huge difference between service that arises spontaneously and passionately, and service that arises from guilt, need for approval, feeling worthy, feeling good, and so on. The latter comes from the mind. It just doesn't flow. Animals don't ask for much. People ask for enormous amounts. Does avoiding people come from thinking, I don't want to feel all that guilt and inner pressure because I would want to take care of them like I would take care of my pets? Instead of allowing those feelings to arise spontaneously, look at this projection that drives you to help others. Bring it home and examine it. Is it truly in your heart to serve? Or is it an attempt to hide from feelings of guilt, unworthiness, or unlovability? Look at the truth of these judgments about yourself. The people in your life are offering you this wonderful gift. Thank them silently, and welcome what is being offered to you. It is always about you, never about them. You must open these gifts. It is not your job to fill yourself, just as it is not your job to serve others. Life is filling you in every moment. Let it happen. All right, now. Sanhia/Spirit Thymus. The collective of ascended masters, you have surpassed Atlantis, Lemuria, and Egypt blessings. We are Thymus. We are the collective of ascended masters. You are pushing beyond the limits ever reached by any human collective on Earth. You are surpassing the level of consciousness of Atlantis, of Lemuria, and of the Egyptians. You are going beyond the boundaries reached by the Druids and the Mayans. And you are doing this because you have been created by a more expanded version of Source. Let us explain. Even though everything is happening right now, and the past is as active in your reality as the present, precisely because it is happening now, you are the most expanded version of Source energy. You represent it. This path is meant to be experienced linearly, and therefore, you are able to go beyond the limits ever reached by humanity. It is part of your birthright. It is what you were born for. You were born to lead humanity to a higher level of consciousness, and you were created by that more expanded consciousness of Source because you are ready to do this, and because the universe is ready for ascension now. Therefore, it has been necessary to involve more evolved human beings to help raise the level of consciousness and complete the transformation. This is the time, and you are the ones who will do it. You are ready to show yourselves to the galactic community as the masters you truly are, and that is why you are making these technological advances. They are a reflection of how far you have progressed in your evolution of consciousness. You are present on Earth in greater numbers than in the past, and this is because a lot of energy is needed to complete a shift in consciousness on a planet. Even if only a small percentage of you is spiritually awakened, these numbers add up, and collectively, you are making all of this possible with your consciousness. You are leading humanity toward ascension, and you are doing it with your positive thoughts, your positive intentions, your compassion, and your unconditional love. You have the willingness to forgive and to look beyond what others' egos show you, and that is helping to create the opportunity for humanity, within your lifetimes, to witness the full completion of this transformation. You are also ushering in an era where every human being on Earth will have the opportunity to make contact with an extraterrestrial, and that alone should show you that humanity is doing better than it ever has before. Congratulate yourselves on a job well done, and enjoy the rest of the ride, because you have earned it. That is all for now. We are Thymus. We are the collective of ascended masters, and we are always among you.